For years, people have speculated. People have speculated why Cody Rhodes left AEW at the height of their popularity. Why he left AEW to take a shot to get back to where I know his heart always wanted to be. Fans have speculated online. Fans have speculated worldwide about why Cody Rhodes left AEW for one reason or another. Is it creative? Is it a power struggle with Tony Khan? Is it the fact that he pigeonholed himself into a creative hole and he couldn't get out of it? He didn't want to go heel. He wanted to stay a babyface. He couldn't win the AEW championship because of a stupid stipulation. Maybe it has something to do with his wife and the Nightmare Collective and the fact that his wife was running the women's division in the early days of AEW. What is the reason why Cody Rhodes left AEW? For years, fans have speculated. Today, we find out a little bit more as to why Cody Rhodes ultimately ended up back in WWE. And the reason is Tony Khan. That's the vibe that I got from a podcast today, uploaded by Bill Simmons with his guest, Cody Rhodes. We are going to go over some of the quotes Cody left with Bill Simmons on why he left AEW to go back and become the face of WWE. Also, the original plans for Seth Rollins to cash in his Money in the Bank contract before his injury. And does that include Cody Rhodes? We'll talk about that today on Off the Script. It is your Friday, August 1st, SummerSlam weekend 2025. Following Wednesday's social media hype, tease, Bill Simmons put out a bunch of clips about his guest this weekend, Cody Rhodes, going into SummerSlam, wrestling John Cena for the WWE Championship, a rematch from WrestleMania. He uploaded some clips about why Cody Rhodes left AEW. He was talking about why he left AEW, and clearly they all went viral because it is a hot button topic, a conspiracy theory that a lot of people would love an answer to. These teasers went out Wednesday. The full podcast dropped Thursday night with more of Cody Rhodes and what he said about his situation with AEW. Simmons asked Rhodes if he felt AEW had a shelf life and if he thought at one point he would be there forever. Now, me speaking personally, I do think that AEW has a shelf life. I do not think that they will be around as long as people anticipate them being around. I give them maybe 5 to 7 years, and then AEW is gone. Genuinely. I don't think that they'll be able to maintain the level of audience that they even have right now. They lost half of their audience, and I honestly think it's only going to get worse. Rhodes admitted it's hard to put himself in that mental spot again because something happened there. And the fact that he said it's hard to put himself back mentally in that spot, that means to me something bad happened over there. Something really, really bad to drive him out of AEW happened over there. And I do genuinely feel like even though he was there, and even though we had those iconic moments where he took the sledgehammer and bashed the throne, and he did all these things and said all these things about the competition, and he tried to be a rebel, the American Nightmare, right? He tried to be everything that he was not in WWE. I do feel like his heart genuinely always wanted to be back in WWE. He says, and I quote, "I started to get a sense that all wrestling needs change. Guys are going to go from company to company." And he thought back to Michael Hayes, a Michael Hayes quote about always leaving the territory at your hottest. Everything, he says, I started to get a sense that all wrestling needs change. Guys are going to go from company to company. You have to keep it fresh. Guys are going to go down for a minute. I just got the sense that it might be time for me to move into something else. I didn't know what that was. I remember thinking, that would be crazy to be a part of the Royal Rumble, to come home, because and he mentions home. You're not going to mention home in that sense if you never wanted to be back home. I genuinely feel like Cody always wanted to go home. That would be crazy to be a part of the Royal Rumble, to come home. Because, I made another home. I got kids at this home, basically. But to show everybody, he said his first meeting back with Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard was mainly to tell them thanks and to apologize for how he initially left WWE. Remember, the story was that Vince and Bruce went to Cody's home to go and try and lure him back to WWE. He did not expect to return. Then it turned into a much bigger conversation that saw him make his return at WrestleMania 39 and obviously, or 38 rather, WrestleMania 38 and wrestle Seth Rollins, where Seth Rollins had this thing going into WrestleMania where he had an open challenge and nobody would come out for the open challenge. And then at WrestleMania 38, the night of, it turned out what was a banger match. And Cody never missed a beat. He was welcomed home like the hero he was, back to WWE. Then he went on to WrestleMania 39 and wrestled Roman Reigns in what I thought was a fantastic match. And then obviously WrestleMania 40, the rematch, where Cody and Roman had one of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. And he won the WWE Championship and finished his story. Later, Rhodes gave the full quote from the aforementioned social media clip with Bill Simmons that we saw floating around on Wednesday to hype this particular podcast. Questioned being if Rhodes felt he couldn't elevate anymore in AEW and if he worried he would be in the same place in 2024 that he was in 2022. Rhodes admitted that might be part of it and then said he started thinking about writing a book recently and was thinking about how he would talk about his time in AEW. He says there's clearly bad blood, but there's also clearly respect and love. He says the way he sees it, if he was ever disrespected in WWE, that's one thing. Equating the company to the New York Yankees of Major League Baseball, an established brand where he's a number on a spreadsheet. But feeling disrespected at something I built with my friends now listen, you need to look at this and read this, listen to it in the context that I see it. Because this is the way that I see it. So I'm telling you from my point of view how I look at this. Feeling disrespected at something I built with my friends. He's not mentioning Matt and Nick Jackson in that context. He's not mentioning Kenny Omega or Adam Page in that context. Feeling disrespected at something I built with my friends that we built. Feeling disrespected there. I wouldn't stand for it, he said. Who disrespected him? Who disrespected him? The reason why everybody had a job there, they call it all friends wrestling for a reason. The reason why everybody had a job there is because of Cody, Matt and Nick Jackson, Kenny Omega, and Adam Page. Adam Page being the lesser of those guys, but the other ones are the most notable figureheads of the company. Adam Page was just there because he's in the elite and he's along for the ride. But the way that I read that is he's got no problem with any of his friends. He's got no problem with Matt and Nick Jackson. He's got no problem with Kenny Omega. In fact, when he won the Royal Rumble, he did the fucking Bullet Club salute. It's all over the place. If I can find the picture, I'll post it here in the video. He has no problem with them. He's always respected them. He's always looked out for them. He's always had nice things to say about them. Even today. That's a kinship. That's a bond. It's never going to be broken. They've always had nice things to say about him. He's always had nice things to say about them. If you read between the lines, there's nothing to do with the elite. There's everything to do with Tony Khan. Feeling disrespected at something I built with my friends that we built, feeling disrespected that I wouldn't stand for it. I think with Brandi and I, both, I'm so blessed to have her. Now, he's really putting the focus here on Brandi. Now, my question here is, did something happen to Brandi? Did something happen with Brandi that made Cody make a decision to leave AEW? Did Brandi get disrespected by someone or people, which forced Cody to force Tony's hand, and then he left the company? Did Cody leave the company because he was defending the disrespect? He was defending his wife from the disrespect from others in AEW. Something that we have to ask. He's lucky to have her. Really putting a focus on Brandi there. It was one of those where it was like, fuck it. I did more here than you think, and you're going to find out the moment I'm out the door. Sounds like Cody forced Tony Khan's hand because Tony might have thought, you're not going to go back there. They're not going to take you back there. And Cody said, oh, yeah? Try me, bitch. Try me. So he left, not knowing what was going to happen because we don't know how they're feeling over there, how they're going to look at Cody Rhodes. Are they going to want Cody Rhodes back in WWE because of the way that he left? But the way that I looked at it is Cody was the one in the driver's seat. And Tony was a clueless idiot who didn't know much of anything and thought with all the money and all the power that he has that he'll be just fine. Leave. Leave. They're not going to take you back there. You think you're just going to walk right in over there after the way you left? You think you're going to walk right in over there after what you did over here and what you said over here to them? And then what happened? Man, did that work out in the worst way possible for Tony Khan, because not only did they take him back, they fucking gave him everything. They gave him everything. Why did they give him everybody? Why did they give him everything, chat? Because they knew exactly where he came from and what power Cody Rhodes held in that company. He was a pillar for AEW. He was an EVP for AEW. It's like you're playing Jenga and you pull out a piece. One piece you remove, the weaker the entire structure is going to be. And that's exactly what they looked at Cody Rhodes as. A piece on a Jenga fucking puzzle. They pulled him out, brought him back in, and they knew once they brought him back in and gave him basically everything, nothing changed. Presentation was the same. Music was the same. His entire character was the same. He's Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare that was in AEW, he was in WWE, but with a larger stage and more presence and the WWE production. It's exactly what they thought. Let's take this Jenga piece out. That puzzle will be weaker for it, and we are going to be stronger. So, of course, they were going to take him back because anything to weaken AEW, WWE gets off on. See, these are the things that I think about. These are the things when I listen to this podcast. These are the things that I think about. So I feel like Tony said, all right, go and try it. They're not going to take you back. And Cody called his bluff and said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gone. You disrespected me. I'm gone. But what was the disrespect? What level of that was disrespect? How big was it? To what level was that disrespect? Was it towards Cody? Was it towards Brandi? Was it towards Brandi and Cody was defending Brandi and basically called Tony Khan's bluff? Oh, yeah? Okay. We'll see who's going to laugh last. See, these are the questions that I have. This is the way my mind operates. So he goes on to say, fuck it, I did more here than you think. You're going to find out the moment I'm at the door. I don't believe in the cold-hearted, backstabby type of revenge. The greatest revenge on earth is success. And I felt like we were sitting on something wonderful, something great, a huge potentially with what I was doing with the American Nightmare as a bad guy, as a good guy, something in between. We're sitting on something magic. And if I'm not doing to do it in the house that I literally built with Matt Nick Jackson, Kenny Omega, then, buddy, I'm going elsewhere. I'm going elsewhere. Every day I'm so blessed that Bruce Pritchard, Nick Khan, Triple H, and Vince got me back. I get to live it out now, Rhodes said in the quote that wasn't initially played on social media. Simmons talked about an upcoming sports documentary and made a comparison between the NFL Dallas Cowboys and the infamous issues between owner Jerry Jones and former coach Jimmy Johnson that resulted in 3 Super Bowls in the 90s, but ended badly. Without saying the name Tony Khan, Rhodes says it was probably a similar situation, but that he doesn't look at the situation with any negativity. He doesn't look at the situation with any negativity. I got to be part of WWE again. So he left because of something that I do believe was outright negative, but he doesn't look back on it with any negativity because of where he is and what he's got right now. So why would he look back on it when it doesn't really matter now because of where he is and he gets to be part of WWE again? I got to be part of WWE. We're talking about Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, two of the greatest to ever lace their boots and draw people into the arenas. And every one of those records has been broken. I got to be in matches that broke those records. I got to stand across from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. I got to do it again at WrestleMania 40. I got the quarterback spot at a company where I was last in the NFL Combine. I am very grateful. That's why I have trouble articulating it and why I want to write this book. I'm very grateful because, hey, okay, this schism happened, but the outcome is I got to be with the biggest game in town. Not only did I get this spot, I got to show them that I could do it. Simmons says he didn't want to ask Rhodes about the McMahon legal issues, joking that he didn't want to put him in a position to talk about it and that it would likely turn into a shitty answer. Something happened. We don't know exactly what. But at the end of the day, you can clearly see that he had nothing negative to say about Matt, Nick, Kenny Omega, and that he always referenced that I wanted to do this with my friends. I wanted to do this with the guys that I came in here and built this thing with. The disrespect he mentioned, it always went back to Tony Khan. Not mentioning Tony by name, but it was always in a way that was coded that you can decipher that it was always about Tony Khan. What did Tony do? What did Tony say in regards to Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, a place that he started and wanted to ultimately build something greater out of, to ultimately abandon ship and then go to WWE? What was it? Was it just blatant disrespect towards Brandi Rhodes? I see a lot of people mentioning, maybe it's something to do with Tony telling Brandi Rhodes that her division and the direction of the women's division at the time and the Nightmare Collective stuff was garbage and that it was just outright awful. Tony has every right to say that. Why would Cody Rhodes get upset about that unless he said it in a way that was just completely disrespectful towards Brandi, Cody, and their family? I don't know. I don't think this has to do with a creative decision. I don't. Why would Cody leave over a discrepancy in Tony not liking a creative direction for AEW when it's ultimately him that's funding the company and whatever he wants on the show, he should get on the show? He's the boss. He's the end-all be-all, isn't he? He was the end-all be-all from day one. He's the end-all be-all now. So I don't think it's a creative decision. That's just fucking ridiculous. That would make Cody look bad if he said, you know what, I'm out the door. I can't get my creative. I'm out the door. Something else, deep-rooted, something else a lot more serious happened. We just don't know what that is. Did Tony disrespect Brandi Rhodes in any way where Cody came in like the husband he is to her and said, you can't disrespect my wife that way. I built this place. We came in here. Without us, this place doesn't exist. And if you're going to treat her that way, I'm out. And this all happened around the same time that his contract was coming due. He called Tony Khan's bluff. Tony said, you ain't going back over there. They're not going to take you back over there after what you did, what you said about them while being employed here, and the way you left over there. They're not going to take you back. Tony didn't know. Cody Rhodes is basically family over there. They took him back in a heartbeat. Because like I said, Cody was a EVP. And to take one of their EVPs, WWE was going to fucking live in the lap of luxury with that. It's like, what did I say back then? Nick Khan, Triple H, Vince McMahon looking at this at the time. It's like Nick Khan's got those animal heads on his wall. And instead of the animal heads, it's the fucking EVPs. Cody's the first to fall. Who's to say Kenny Omega doesn't come on over? And not only EVPs, they're looking to take all of their major players, no matter who it is. MJF, Jade Cargill, fucking Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay. They want everybody that has made a name for themselves over in AEW because they get off on weakening AEW. That's what their game is. Anytime they have an opportunity to weaken AEW, they will take it. That's why you're seeing so much counter program. But what was it? Something to do with Brandi. Cody and Brandi being disrespected by Tony Khan. I don't know. We can only speculate. I wish I had the answers. I really do. But at the end of the day, you could see that the reason why Cody Rhodes left was not because of creative, not because of money, not because of power. Cody wanted to be there. He wanted to build a name there. His time there was very short. Did he pigeonhole himself into creative by not winning the AEW championship because of that stupid stipulation? Yes, but a good creative writer can write themselves out of a situation like that. Cody wanted to be the hero. Cody wanted to be the babyface. Cody wanted to be the top of the show. He could have been the top of the show. He could have been the star of that fucking company. Why wasn't he? Did Tony Khan want something else? I don't know. I always said, and I continue to say, they don't know a star when they see it. They don't know how to create new stars. Why couldn't Cody be the star he is today in AEW? If someone who leads has a vision, then those things happen. And everybody around him makes those things happen. Why didn't it happen? Everything that we got in WWE, we could have absolutely gotten in AEW. Why didn't we? Why didn't we? It's not because Cody wasn't up to the task. It was because something happened to drive Cody out of the company. They didn't even give him the opportunity to do it. This is a story, when his book comes out, I don't know how much he's going to divulge, but that is going to be one of the biggest things that I think comes out in the news as far as pro wrestling is concerned. One of the biggest conspiracies is this story. Now, I'm going to stick to my guns and say I do think that it has something to do really, really bad. Something serious happened between Tony, Brandi, and Cody Rhodes to drive Cody out of the company. I do feel like Cody called Tony's bluff because Tony didn't think that he was going to go over there. He didn't think that WWE would be willing to take him back so easily. Cody said, all right, we'll see. He played his own game. He called his own shots. He met with Vince, and then one thing led to another, and Tony looked like a fucking idiot. I do think something serious happened. What that serious is, we don't know, and we can still only speculate today. But I will say this in closing before we get on to the last story, and then I get out of here. Everybody who has a brain and a good head on their shoulders knows for a fact that AEW has not been the same since Cody Rhodes left AEW. And it even doubled down and got worse when CM Punk was fired from AEW. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk were driven out of the company by people who work there, and it absolutely Titanicked the company. The company sank, the company continues to sink, and the company will never get that ship back on track. It will never get that ship back afloat ever again. The ratings are down. The demo has been fucking completely lost. They lost 70% of their demo from when Punk and Cody Rhodes were there. Those people never returned. The 18 to 49 demo never returned. They were doing upwards towards 4 and 5 in the demo, 18 to 49. Now they can barely do a fucking 0.15 in the demo, which was just released yesterday for Dynamite. They had Jon Moxley and Adam Page in a AEW championship match, and you still can't draw a demo. They're not cool anymore. The 18 to 49 demo is so gone that Tony now is shilling the 45 to 54 demo, or the 34 to 54 demo, whatever the fuck it is, whatever the demo is after the 18 to 49. He's got to go to that and lie to the media. Oh, we're up. We're having a great year. Demo is down, ratings are down, attendance is down. Their attendance is so fucking down, they're running ballrooms and auditoriums and not arenas. When Cody and Punk were there, they were filling out fucking basketball arenas. Now they're filling out fucking concert halls with 1,100 people. No, but everything's up. But then the sickos will cite, oh, they sold 15,000 for Forbidden Door in the United Kingdom. Yes, it's not North America. How many times do they find themselves in Europe for a major show? One time a year? Those people are starved for pro wrestling. You can give them fucking shit on a plate and they'll fucking pay good money to go see it and fill the O2 Arena. It doesn't matter. Those people want pro wrestling. They don't get pro wrestling all the time. It's easy to do that. Oh, but they sold 12,000, 13,000 for All Out in Toronto. Again, an international market. How many times do they go to Toronto? One time a year? Here in the United States, nobody wants AEW. It's not attractive. It's boring. It's lame. It insults the people's intelligence. If they were so great and everything was up, why are they still running residencies 3 and 4 weeks at a time? Because the way that I look at it, if they're up, the attendance should go up. If they're up, they should start running regular arenas again to see how many people they bring in. If they were up, we'd start filling those arenas with 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people on a weekly basis. They're not. 1,100 at the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago. The way that I look at it, when they do All In, they went from Wembley, 80,000 people, to 50,000 the next year. And then All In, the third iteration of a stadium All In, they did 28,000 people. If All In was so big, why didn't those people fly over here to go see All In? Where's the American audience for All In? 40+ thousand seats at Globe Life Field. 28,000. What happened? If you were so big and everything was so great, you should have sold out 40,000 fucking people. WWE's fitting 55,000 people on 2 nights, over 110,000 people for SummerSlam at MetLife with those ticket prices. If the product was hot and the product was must-see, then those numbers would be up. They're not. They're doing everything to deflect them being down. They have not been the same since Cody and CM Punk have left the company. And they will never be the same ever again. It doesn't matter who's on top. Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, MJF, fucking Mark Briscoe, this one, that one, Tony Storm, Mercedes. They brought in all these fucking names, and the ratings are still down. Mercedes is not a draw. Okada's not a draw. Swerve is not a draw. Ospreay's not a draw. When do you people start placing the blame on the leadership of the company and start placing the blame on the people who are running and booking this show? I don't even blame the fucking talents, because if I had that type of talent on my roster, I would be fucking head over heels, the happiest fucking dude ever. The fact that he's got all these names on his roster, he doesn't give a shit. He's just happy that they're there. Those are toys to him. He's got all these names on his roster. That's all. He goes to sleep fucking smiling ear to ear. I got all these people on my roster. Doesn't know how to fucking use them. Not a fucking clue how to use them. When are you people going to start placing the blame on the guy who we should start blaming? And that's Tony Khan. Everybody wants a better AEW. AEW's better. AEW, for what they are, is better for pro wrestling. We want the show to be better. We want the product to be better. We want the company to be better. They've got so many negatives surrounding them that even with Cody and CM Punk, it's just a sinking ship. It's a sinking ship. It has been for years. Start placing the blame appropriately on the guy who deserves all the blame, and that's Tony Khan. He's the one out there claiming that they're great. He'll be the first one to tell you that they're up and everything is so great. When everything is bad, where's that same fucking energy? When all these stats are right in your face, where's all that energy to place the blame on him? That's what I want to know. When Cody reveals the reason why, I'm telling you this right now. When Cody reveals the real reason why, when he is long gone and has nothing to do with pro wrestling anymore, when Cody reveals the reason why he left AEW, I guarantee you, AEW is finished. Guarantee it. And maybe I do know the real reason. And when that comes out, I want to see the energy towards Tony Khan. All these months, all these years, everybody glazing Tony Khan. When that day comes, done. They're done now. Seth Rollins. We'll end with this. The original plan for Seth Rollins' WWE Money in the Bank cash-in. A new report has revealed the original creative plan for Seth Rollins and his Money in the Bank contract at this weekend's SummerSlam PLE at MetLife Stadium. The plan involved a shocking cash-in following the World Heavyweight Championship match. Gee, oh man, I'm so surprised. According to Dave Meltzer and speculation from The Observer, because I'm going to go on and say this is nothing more than mere speculation. Meltzer is speculating. Another guy who doesn't have a fucking clue. The original plan was for Seth Rollins to cash in his Money in the Bank contract immediately after the conclusion of the World Heavyweight Championship match between Gunther and CM Punk. The report notes that this plan was still in place as of 1 week after Rollins' injury angle at Saturday night's main event. The report notes that the plan was still in place as of 1 week after Seth Rollins' injury angle on Saturday night's main event. Meltzer noted that a storyline where Punk finally won the title and then Rollins cashing in, making it a triple. Well, actually, no, that's the way I'm thinking about it. Punk finally winning the title and then Rollins cashing in after, making everyone thinking his knee was blown out, was actually a great angle. However, he also stated, Meltzer, that it is unknown if WWE will continue in that direction, especially since the company is very focused on surprises and some fans are now aware of the possibility. This adds another layer of intrigue to the ongoing mystery of whether Rollins' injury is a legitimate situation or a work. The World Heavyweight Championship match between Gunther and CM Punk is scheduled to take place on night one, and it is confirmed via social media on Instagram, I believe, that it will main event night one of SummerSlam. Now, I did see a clip from the Unreal documentary or the docuseries on Netflix. I did watch episode 1. I very much enjoyed episode 1. Nothing too egregious as far as revealing too much or pulling back the curtain too much. I actually quite enjoyed what they did on episode 1. It was more of an introductory episode. You got to know who Cody Rhodes was and who Rhea Ripley was and Triple H and, you know, some of the bigger stars there in that episode. CM Punk was also a focus on that first episode. They gave their real names. Nothing that I seen on that episode was out of the ordinary. Everything that you would think happens in WWE, everything you would think happens in Gorilla, they, to me, appropriately detailed in that episode. So I wasn't really saying, well, that doesn't seem right or that seems fake. Everything that happened, the way the environment is, the way the agents and the producers sit in Gorilla and watch the match and everything. The one thing that I took away from everything was that it was so fucking micromanaged. Literally, every part of the match is micromanaged. Like, bro, let them go out there and just fucking wrestle, man. You got some of the greatest pro wrestlers ever on your roster, and you're fucking micromanaging everything, man. Cut this out. We're going too long, blah, blah, blah. It's the only part I didn't like. It's the only part that really kind of makes me scratch my head. Why is that such a thing? That was all we heard with Vince McMahon and his administration. It seems to be just as bad, if not worse now. Listen, could CM Punk beat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship? Sure. That is absolutely a possibility. Do I think that will happen? The answer is no. Why do I say no? Because the match has been built in 2 weeks. The match is made in 2 weeks. They gave Punk a gauntlet match and barely did any fucking promo work back to back. 2 weeks of build. You're gonna take the title off of Gunther with 2 weeks of build to put it on CM Punk? I don't know if Punk would be ready for that, man. To me, if you ask Punk what he would want, I think Punk would even tell you, no, I'm not taking the title of Gunther in that environment. With as little as we did for this match, you want me to beat him for the title? I think Punk would be the first one to tell you, I'm not beating Gunther. I don't want it. What I think is happening here is Meltzer is partially correct. The original plan is going to be the original plan, just tweaked. I do think that Punk is going to come close to beating Gunther. I think Rollins, just like he did when Reigns and Lesnar were in the main event, great match. He cashed in the briefcase. I think Punk is going to get the GTS ready. I think he nails the GTS. I think Rollins comes down, fucking place explodes. He runs down to the ring, cashes in, makes it a triple threat match. He beats CM Punk and pins CM Punk and wins the World Heavyweight Championship. And that is the story. That is the focus coming out of SummerSlam. I do genuinely feel that Rollins' injury is all the work. I think that Rollins will show up Saturday night, and I think that Rollins will make this a triple threat match. I am sticking to my guns. That first cash-in was one of the greatest, if not the greatest cash-ins of all time. Rollins, now being a two-time Money in the Bank winner, knows, how do I top that? I just can't come in and just like, hey, man, I'm here, let's cash it in. You know, I have to do something that is going to get people talking. The injury angle got people talking. The cash-in's going to get people talking. Me showing up, not injured, is going to get people talking. So he's going about it in a different way to surprise people because he's got to live up to the unbelievable cash-in that he had the first time he did it. And I do think that Triple H is aware of what fans are speculating, which to me is the only part that's holding me up. We could not see. Gunther can beat Punk and the show goes off the air in the most boring way possible. That could be. Because Triple H wants that to be, because Triple H knows that the fans are now speculating, oh, the injury's fake. Rollins is going to cash in. And when Triple H knows that fans are in on what he's doing, he, at the drop of a dime, will change it to make everybody look wrong and everybody look bad. But I don't think that's the right move to make. I think the fans are zoned in on it. Run with it. That's the right decision. It doesn't matter if the fans are smart. Doesn't matter if the fans are in on it. Doesn't matter if the fans are right. Do what is right. We're right. This is the right decision. And if it all ends up being a work and he ends up cashing in and makes it a triple threat match to win, that is the right decision. I can't see Punk winning the title in 2 weeks of build, and I can't see Gunther just losing the championship just out of nowhere after he just won it a couple of months ago. None of that makes sense to me. None of it. So I think Rollins is cashing in. I think we get a triple threat match. I think he walks out of night one with the big cliffhanger. The fuck is going on? Seth Rollins is the World's Heavyweight Champion. How and why? And we got all that building into Monday Night Raw. That's the right way to do it. Thank you guys very much for all of your supports. If you guys enjoyed today's podcast, please leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think the reason Cody left AEW is. Is it something to do with Tony? What do you think the disrespect is that Cody's mentioning? What do you think it is? Is it towards Brandi? Is it towards them? Is it towards Cody specifically? What is it? Sound off in the comment section below. And let me know what you think Rollins is going to do at SummerSlam as well. Is there going to be cash-in? Is it going to be a triple threat match? Is Punk going to win the title? And then Rollins cashes in on Punk to take it away from him? Because he has said, with a breath in my body, as long as there's a breath in my body, I am going to make sure you are never a world champion. Seems like that is something the Oracle might throw out there, right? Sounds very Oracle-like. Yeah. But let me know what you guys think about that. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And please hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes today on Off the Script. I will see you tonight live for SmackDown right here on YouTube after the show goes for the air. The go-home show before this weekend's first ever 2-night SummerSlam. I'll see you live tonight for SmackDown right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.